Welcome, and thank you for joining for another whiskey review. Today, we're going to take a look at Lagavulin 21-year-old 1985. Dustin, 56.5% ABV. This is the 2007 release Diageo Special. This whiskey was actually provided to us by one of our Patreon supporters, Roy N. So, Dr. Roy, out there in Fullerton, California, we appreciate you sending us this whiskey. I am going to send you some good Lagavulins back. By the time this is posted, I'm sure we're already talked.
Appreciate you, buddy.
Absolutely. This is bottle number 3248 of the Lagavulin 21. Only 6642 as far as the total bottle count, Dustin. And thank goodness, 15 years later, they're still able to pick these things.
Unbelievable.
No doubt. So this one is aged in just, let's say, Spanish sherry oak.
European oak.
Excuse me. Yeah, obviously. Spanish European sherry oak. So this will be the third of the 20 ones that we've brought you, and this is probably one of the most legendary, or one of the most well thought of Lagavulin 21s, or just Lagavulins in general. So excited to be able to get this one. Once again, Roy, thank you. We appreciate it. Again, Lagavulin 21, 1985. Dustin, let's get to it.
Mike, so we've had this sitting in the glass now for about 25, 30 minutes.
Sure. Yep.
So it's got a good chance to open up, and let me tell you, it has opened up.
What a beautiful whiskey. It is not as pungent sherry as the 1991 21-year-old by any stretch. It's a much more open, refined, rich sherry.
It's almost like the sherry is like turned into like a Lagavulin gasoline with red fruits and chocolate.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here. I do pick up the tobacco notes I get with really good old Lagavulins, but with none of the mint, which is sort of strange.
Yeah, I don't get any mint here yet.
But there is just a good tobacco and just like good char note to this.
There's kind of a vanilla cigarette ash kind of thing going on here that sometimes turns minty for me, but right now it's not.
I mean, I cannot just properly articulate just how smooth and rich the sherry is. It's a chocolate, but I don't know if I'd call it milk chocolate or dark chocolate either one. It's definitely not dark chocolate.
There's like butterscotch and buttercream.
Butterscotch is something else too that's in here.
Maybe a little hint of toffee, just a hint. This is, I can't compare this to another whiskey right now, Mike.
Yeah. This is we've been smelling this for a while. This is an excellent nosing whiskey. You know, I've had this one other time before, and I do remember being impressed with it. I had it next to the 21 from 91, and I do remember that one being a little bit punchier of a whiskey.
You know, instantly, what I'm struggling here to come up with like how to describe this because it's just so unique. And you know, one thing I'm noticing, Mike, on some of these really older sherry Lagavulins is the peat character has disappeared, but the smoke is just emphatically there.
Yeah, you're right. The smoke is all-encompassing, but you're not getting really a lot of peat. But for me, the umami note is really, really evident in this Lagavulin as compared to really any of them, and that's a note that I get in all of them.
Well, before this opened up, that was my first comment on it. Now that it's opened up, there's so much else. I'd kind of actually lost the umami, but you're right. It's like a mushroom,
mushroom umami
sauce kind of thing. Yeah, very umami, savory, a little salty.
Yeah, and the chocolate note coming through here is really nice, too. It goes along with that really sherry oakiness that you could say leather, but it's almost richer than that. It's almost richer than a leather. It's almost...
So here's a crazy idea. Imagine you go to like a Bed Bath & Beyond type place, right? Mm-hmm. You get a bunch of candles that are all just like fruits. Mm-hmm. And you somehow turn that into a leather chair. Yeah. That is what I'm getting here.
Yeah, almost like, apple and leather.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's... I say apple, and I do get a little bit of that, but then here's that grilled peach note that I get from Lagavulins coming up.
Steve Jobs was still around. He'd make a chair that smelled like this.
I'll tell you what. This is an excellent nosing whiskey.
It was the thing you didn't know you needed. Now you do. Mm-hmm. I'm impressed by how much volume has increased on the nose since we first poured this.
Yeah, this was kind of a fresh open bottle, putting the samples, pretty much right away, so we thought it would be wise to let it open up in a glass for a minute.
And I mean, with a whiskey like this, you have to give it time because we only have an ounce each. We have to enjoy this in its best form. And apologies, guys. Usually we do try to taste the stuff before we review, but unfortunately, you can only do so much when you have something this small. And I mean, these are $4,000 bottles these days, Mike.
Oh yeah, right about that.
I mean, this isn't something you can just go pick up.
I'm almost getting like a candy cigarette wrapped in tobacco.
Yeah, that's that vanilla smoke thing I was talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, the vanilla keeps coming up. It's really just...
God, there's a spiciness to this.
Ever changing.
There's enough alcohol on here where it does like makes your kind of your nostrils start to like, you know, you think you're gonna sneeze when you're really going in for it. And of course,
56.5 is a good ABV at any age, especially 21.
And of course, we're using the Capitas, which are, we tend to prefer these for whiskeys under 50, but we wanted to get everything out of this one.
As you can imagine. Yeah, but I would say the richness of the vanilla note and the richness of the tobacco note with this one it exceeds many of the other Lagavulins I've had. But the volume of smoke is right there. I wouldn't say it's quite like the 25 from 2016. That's more volume of smoke, but it's a close second. I mean, I prefer, this is smokier than, say, the 21-year-old, or, say, the Face Show from 2015, which was the 24.
This is more wood forward. Those are a little more sherry forward. And you know what I'm getting on here, Mike, that I don't think I've ever said before?
What's that?
Smoked watermelon.
The red fruits, you know, and earlier I said banana and leather, but yeah, there is a beautiful red fruit note to this. Yeah. Not a berry, but like some type of light red fruit. I could see watermelon. You mentioned just a moment ago, you said more oak forward. Yeah, the casks definitely have done a very deep, dense.
Yeah, they're not just adding sherry, they're adding oak.
Yes. And that's adding to that smoke. You know, you're right, the peat has disappeared, but the smoke level on this, the oak smoke here is just so dense. I'm taking a little sip.
Yeah, go for it, man. Yeah, I mean, overall, I think what I'm kind of getting here, guys, is a complete experience. Start to finish, it's all-encompassing. It's overwhelming with different layers. It's heavy, it's thick, it's rich, it's creamy. It's an exceptional nose. You know, there might be those who want more of this, that, or the other. But instead, this is pure balance. Everything works together. Everything is in harmony. All right, Mike, he's got his thinking hat on right now. You can tell there's something going on.
Man, as soon as you swallow, it's heavy tobacco notes, man. But there is good chocolate. There's good cocoa. The spice here is it's substantial, but I really can't pick out exactly what it is. But there's a really good spice oak note on this. Man, it is so oily, so dense, and really, for a second there when you swallow, it's kind of shocking, like the ABV how high it was initially. Then right here on the finish is just cocoa chocolate. And that smoke, very reminiscent of the finish and the linger on the 25. It got incredibly smoky, incredibly oaky tobacco here on the end. What are you picking up?
I'm speechless right now, Mike. So starts off with like
tannins are on the sides, stick to you.
I've already lost the words, man. I would say there's a cayenne pepper up front with those chocolate notes and stuff you're talking about.
Maybe that was the spice, yeah. Mm-hmm.
What is this finish? I'm getting some kind of crazy, weird, like funky oak. Yeah. I've never had this before. I mean, it's funky oak and mushroom.
Umami, mushroom, and oak. I mean, it is dense, too. It's a loaf of just an oak cake.
Yeah, I mean, it's like...
It is substantial. I mean, there's still smoke with it, but, I mean, that oak
it's definitely smoky. I've never had an oak like this, ever. I'm literally speechless here, Mike.
That is dense wood right there.
The alcohol kicks super heavy, harder than I thought it was going to in the mid palate.
Yep.
It's creamy, oily, viscous, rich. This has got more tobacco than smoking a cigar.
But now, like a blood orange is here too, along with that chocolate note on the finish.
I did get mint kind of as we were going from mid to finish. I also got that watermelon note again. It wasn't smoky this time; it was fruity and juicy. Oh my god, I'm gonna go back for another sip.
Yeah, watermelon, blood orange. I mean,
blood orange on the finish right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, man, I tell you what, this is an epic finish, like the 25. Remember when we did the Lagavulin comparison? I know you do. When we did a Lagavulin comparison review of all the 1991s, the 25 stood out because of that linger and that finish. This finish and linger, this oak smoke note is just continuing and continuing. And so at some points, it's like building in smoke and coming back to oak and then building in smoke. It's almost like a Highland Park that comes back smoky.
Yeah.
Smoky blood orange.
Up front, it's got this incredibly balanced chocolate, red fruit, sherry hybrid thing going on. I almost forget it's a Lagavulin up front. Finishes Lagavulin big time, though. Maybe even starting to get that little bit of peach note that we get on like Lag 16s. Jeez. Jeez. Oh my goodness, Mike.
Yeah, you feel that ABV when you put it on your mouth initially. And then you get the spice, whatever that exotic spice is. It's like a potpourri and just a mixed bag of spices. And chocolate, and you swallow, man. And then, yeah, it's just all that smoke, all that oak. And it just comes together, and this, great experience. But, I wouldn't necessarily say, heavily peated Isla, at all. It's not that type of Lagavulin.
Heavy smoke Isla, sure.
Yeah, no peat.
Heavily peated, you just told me they put this in like a smoked or charred, barrel, and this is where it came from. I couldn't argue.
It's almost like they left a piece of the stave in the bottle for a while. You know what I mean?
They just burned a stave and threw it in there. Yeah,
seasoning stick, if you will. Man, it is substantial. Exactly what you expect out of something that was supposed to be an epic whiskey.
Yeah.
I haven't had a bottle of this myself, still looking for that. But I had a chance to sample another time again with the other Lagavulin 21. But having just to focus here on the selves, I'd love to have a bottle that I could work down, and I'm sure I will at some point. But man, you can tell this is just epic whiskey. On the nose, I was thinking, in my mind, 93, 94 on the nose. On the palate, it's just as impressive of a show. And then the finish on this one, I prefer it to the finish on the 21 from 91, hands down, and over the 24, the facial from 2015. I'd have to have it next to the 25 from 2016 to know what has the better finish for sure. But I can't imagine something having a better finish than this. The oak note is incredible.
It's the most unique oak note I've ever had. I'm not sure I love the oak note, to be honest with you.
It's dirty and heavy.
It's dirty, it's heavy.
Almost mossy.
It's really drying, too. I don't dislike it, but it's
different. It's very mineral. I've used the word dampness on stone or moss on stone. I'm getting all that with mushroom.
It's like you're in a wet, dark forest, and this is the tree that fell.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? With water, it's sashaying into honey. With a couple drops.
Yeah, there's a little bit of honey. It definitely got a little sweeter, as the whiskeys tend to do with water.
Sure. Yeah, I would say more honey, more vanilla.
Yeah, the red fruit's a little brighter now, too. Overall, I think it just moved things around. It didn't really change too much for me.
No, yeah, the backbone of what this is consistent.
Man, I'm at a loss for words. This finish is so unique. By the way, we had a Springbank 25 before we had this.
Yeah,
which had a killer finish.
Just to gauge our palates for epic whiskey. So we weren't too blown away by it. You know what I mean? Just to temper expectations.
We level set it with a 90-plus whiskey.
Yeah. Just to make sure we weren't, with the sample being too generous. But
man.
This is all of that, let me tell you. Yeah. Okay, so now with water, man, definitely honey, definitely more candied. Candied oak, candied vanilla. Beautiful dark honey. The dark oak note, that's what the honey is kind of gravitating towards too. It's not part of the bright fruits, it's part of the darkness of this whiskey. Man, what an epic whiskey.
I'm sorry, Mike, I don't have words right now, dude.
I'll keep talking.
I'm losing them.
Yeah. Yeah, the vanilla is almost becoming sugary candied. And then here's that grilled peach in the background.
Crystallized sugars, for sure, are coming through a little bit now.
Man, it's a really nice grilled peach note on this. Man. Just that really smoky oak.
I don't know if I want to drink anymore just because I'm still enjoying the finish. At the same time, I don't want the nose to go away. Oh, my goodness. It's such a rich, complete experience. I think that's the big thing I'm getting out of this, is that it's a complete experience from start to finish. You're getting everything goes together. It all works in harmony. Maybe the wood finish is a little too much. That'd be my biggest criticism, but that also might be the best feature of this whiskey, depending on what you like, because God, it lasts long. It's very unique. And it very much just expresses that I think they found some really good oak for this. This was better casking than we're getting today from Lagavulin.
Obviously, yeah.
Although that's not saying much, this new master distiller.
Yeah. So I'll say with water, I'm getting a few more things. You're right. I don't. When you said water moved it around, it expanded it so I can get a few more things. Now I do get quite a bit more of the mint to go along with that tobacco, to go along with grilled peach, some type of bright red fruit. I agree with you. Not a berry, some type of apple skin, perhaps watermelon. But that grilled peach is still there. The smoke, the tobacco. Yeah. Wow, what a whiskey.
I think I got most of that the first time through. What I am picking up a little more now is a little bit of wood smoke. That like very specific clean wood smoke that I wasn't picking up before. Before I got that dirty oak at the end, but not this clean, classic Lagavulin thing. I mean, I agree with everything else you said. I think I got most of that the first time around, but they were... The first pour of this thing was just like, geez, my entire like face and my expressions. I'm probably going to get memed after this.
Yeah, I tell you what, man, this one here...
Man.
Lagavulin doesn't even jump out at you initially. This is such a cask-driven experience.
It's finish. Now with water, the finish is a little less mossy, dirty. Still dirty, but I'm liking it more now.
All right, buddy.
Maybe I'm just getting used to it. I don't know.
All right, so let's try to formulate a score here. I think we're at 94 on the 25. I think 92 or 92 on the old 21, the 1991, the one in the white box. I tell you what, I hate not having a whiskey a lot of times to really nail down a whiskey score, but it doesn't take long to realize this is epic. And having this experience, all three stages, nose, palate, finish, all of them are strong. Wow. 93, 94 on the nose.
The red berry's getting even more intense now.
You're going red berry now. I think it's actually a berry.
On the nose, now it's red berry and honey.
Yeah, I would say this is into the 90s as far as the nose. 94 on a nose. I would say on the palate, this is a 92. On the finish, which is... Finish might be a 93. I mean, this is right up there with one of the best Lagavulins I've ever had. If not the best.
All right, the arrival for me is coming in the low 90s, 91-ish, 90, 91.
Let's say 92, yeah.
The mid palate, however,
you're breaking it down.
Jumps up into like 94, 95 range, probably 95. One of the most explosive mid palates I've ever had on a whiskey. Usually it's up the upfront sweetness and it's the back end finish that kind of are the standouts for a whiskey. Mm-hmm. This is actually the mid palate, which is unique. I've never had that before. And that's just that roller coaster of spice, oak, sweetness, smoke, mint, tobacco, just blow up. Because up front, it's a very simple, clean, sherried, sweet Lagavulin. Almost a little disappointing given the nose, which is epic.
Epic.
But then you get that, and then the finish, you start to get this crescendo down. I've come to really appreciate now what it's doing on the finish. But it's not like this bold finish that like rises. It kind of comes in a little bit waves, like you were saying earlier, Mike. Mm-hmm. Good oak. I'm going to call that more like a 93 there. Nose, I'm going 93. So I think overall whiskey score for me, I'm going to say 93, but it's reaching close to that 94.
Yeah, my kind of conclusion here was a 94, which I think is what I gave the 25 from 2016 as well. Yeah. And I think I gave the 24 facial a 90, 93 or 94. So, yeah, it's right there. I don't know if it's better than any of those whiskeys. It's at least as good. I think I like to finish a little bit better on the 25. This might be the best nosing Lagavulin I've ever had, though. 25
is up there for me on the nose. I think that 25 is more what I like in Lagavulin on the nose. That mid palate explosion. I get why people put this one on such a pedestal, Mike, because it's an incredible experience that it has unique flavors. It has depth. It's so well put together. The structure of the whiskey, the experience from start to finish. Whoever blended this together, picked these barrels, chose the ratios. I mean, they knew exactly what they were doing. They knew they had a job that required perfection, and they nailed it. God, whoever did this, I hope they got a raise.
I'll say this. There are parts of this whiskey that's the best Lagavulin experience ever. I don't know if it has quite the nose of the 25. I don't know if it has quite the complexity of the facial 2015. But it is so close to both of them. The oily mouthfeel on this one, because it's such a high ABV, cannot be understated. From the cask to the ABV, this comes off So dense and oily. Yeah, I'm going to go a solid 94 on this one. Yeah. Man, great Lagavulin.
I mean,
great Lagavulin.
I think, I mean, it comes down to what you like, and your Lagavulin, God, this is a special bottle of whiskey. I mean, super special bottle of whiskey. If somebody told me this was a 96, 97 for them, I wouldn't even blink an eye. I'd be like, I get it.
If most people in the world say this is the best whiskey they've ever tried, I would understand. This is truly an epic whiskey.
If you really like to get different oak profiles throughout the experience of whiskey, if that's something you're into, which we like, but I'm not as big a fan of the just oak coming through like this, but I do like it. I mean, I'll give it a 93, but if that's your big focus, this could be 96, 97 easily.
Yeah, I mean, this is like Highland Park 28 from Cadenhead. This is, or like those like 10-year-old Cavalans. This is true, just oak taking over the experience to a large degree. It is a third of what's going on here, and it is epic. Epic whiskey.
How can they redo this? Can they make this happen again, please, Lagavulin?
No, you can't. Now I'm going to have to buy this. All right. So that's where we're at. So this is the 93. I'm 94. This is Lagavulin 21 from 1985. We, once again, cannot thank our good friend Roy enough. Roy, I'll obviously be sending you some good stuff here, man. So we'll be sending it to Fulton here before you know it. I got your address. I'm sure by the time this whiskey review has posted, I'll have already reached out to you. But once again, thank you. And, of course, thank you to Drams and Drums for bringing this to me. So he actually got the samples for me and brought them to me. Cool guy. Maybe we'll have him over sometime.
Yeah, hey, we'll do a little collab or something with him.
Absolutely. Thank you, Cameron. Appreciate it. If you guys ever chance to try this one, like to know what you guys think. Until next time, Dustin, what do we wish the folks?
Thank you, Roy, and happy drinking.
Thanks, Roy.